Finding a weak, undependable voice all this week. And I'm not sure of it tonight. It's not that it says things I don't want it to say. I have it well disciplined. Sometimes it just doesn't say. In this cooperative name game that I indulge in annually with the other Pelicans and Penguins, I do not want to rework year after year any single or narrow aspect of our island history or of our promise for years to come. By overworking the same theme, I can run into the same rut legislative that historians have often found themselves in. Exposing myself to this hazard for several years, I retold the Smutty-Nose murder story. Then I made a prudent switch. And for the past 2 years, I predicted instead of reporting. Rather than take a backward look at history, I have foretold what might follow years to come if we avoided certain pitfalls. I have prophesied about the future of Brandenburg, this mountain where we sit, whose top is drier enough for an ideal community. I suppose my act could be called hypotheating. If I were certain we could produce the perfect community, I would beat a loud hubba-dub-dub support, though I wouldn't do it as well as Ellen would. But Hogan be dead sure about the future, except that we'll all be dead. Tonight, I return to a tale or two. A tale or two. Actually, several. About our island history, and specifically about the town of Gosport during its 2 centuries of existence. I'll whittle the account down to a wise collection of major events, come what may. In the Atlantic world of the middle 1600s, no individual or activity had the reputation of rival carding. After Captain John Smith discovered his famous isles and publicized accessibility of fish, there was a rush of fishermen to these waters. These men were not seeking religious freedom. They were mainly men who assumed the freedom to fish in any of nature's fish bowls. Furthermore, most of these fishermen were Anglicans, who, by the way, had little use for the Puritans, who controlled roughly half of the adjacent waters. Cutting to the legalists, the settlement on Star Island did not become Gosport officially until 1715, about 30 years after some 40 families moved over from Maine, I said, in the 1780s. Since, in a way, there have been 2 Maines, it is hard to pinpoint the exact details. We know they moved from Appalachia, as we call it today, and maybe Smutty-Nose in order to start where they had been living their economic situation and in growing wicker and wicker. When they came across New Hampshire, where they would no longer be subjected to a devastating tax on fishing, and the Puritans of Massachusetts, who also governed from Maine, the District of Massachusetts, has been able to of a capital made this tax. The collectors wanted more shed votes every year. Consequently, the showless standard of living, as I said, got worse and worse. But after crossing the harbor, their spirits rose. As they pulled in the tax-free fish, they sang, "What but Star Island is my spirit's home." They built a meeting house in 1685 on Star Hill. Thus the immigrants not only had a center for worship once again, but an all-purpose structure usable as schoolhouse, courthouse, town hall, and lighthouse. Their hopes for the future began to rise even higher. In 1720, this first Star Island church burned to the ground. Promptly, they got motion to rebuild their meeting house, naturally of wood, doing it at their own expense. The fish were plentiful, the trade with Europe flourished, ships came for done fish from Spain. One cause for worry persisted, more a threat than a reality at most locations. Every now and then the Indians would raid the coastal towns, taking a piece of treasure, but they hadn't taken a fichette. Not yet, not a fichette from Gosport. In 1724, the family of Reverend Joshua Moody suffered from one such raid. Most of the residents lived in small wooden huts or hutches, hardly big enough to keep a